Crimea Bridge threatened with attack, Russia warns NATO nation to regret. Surrounded by Russia, Kiev troops withdrew north of Avdiivka. Kazakhstan officially spoke up about the possibility of selling MiG-31 to Ukraine. Crimea Bridge threatened with attack, Russia warns NATO nation to regret. Russian officials responded harshly after the Lithuanian ambassador to Sweden posted an article implying that the Crimea Bridge was about to be attacked. Lithuanian ambassador to Sweden Linus Linkevicius posted an article on social network American Made, and the third photo shows Russian President Vladimir Putin contemplating. The caption below the photos reads, "If someone hasn't had a chance to take a photo at Kirk Bridge yet, there's still time." The Russian side believes that the above article is a hidden threat, targeting the Crimea Bridge across the Kerch Strait, connecting the Crimean Peninsula and the Russian mainland. Mr. Dmitry Polyansky, Russia's deputy permanent representative to the United Nations, warned that Ambassador Linkevicius and others with similar views will eventually regret all such mistakes. The message of the ambassador of Lithuania, which is a member country of NATO and the EU, came just a few days after White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan confirmed that the U.S. had secretly transferred a quantity to Ukraine. Significant attacks missile with a range of up to 300 kilometers. With his article, Ambassador Linkevicius seemed to imply that this long-range weapon could be used to attack the Crimea Bridge, according to RT. Previously, in an interview with German media in early April, when asked whether Kiev planned to destroy the Crimea Bridge this year, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said, "We really want that." According to Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, the fact that Ukrainian officials publicly spoke out about plans to attack Russian infrastructure once again proves Russia's decision to conduct a military operation in Ukraine is correct. Russian ambassador to the U.S. Anatoly Antonov said that transferring long-range missiles to Ukraine was an unjustifiable action. He added that Washington's move increases the threat to the security of Crimea, including Sevastopol, new Russian regions and other Russian cities. Since the outbreak of the Ukrainian conflict in 2022, many officials and commanders in Ukraine have threatened to destroy the 19-kilometer bridge connecting the Crimean Peninsula and the Krasnodar region. They believe that this work is very important for the Russian army. The Crimean Peninsula, where the Russian Black Sea Fleet is headquartered, has recently been repeatedly targeted by attacks by missiles, drones and unmanned boats. Russia accused Ukraine of being behind these attacks. Deputy Director of the Defense Intelligence Agency of Ukraine Vadim Skibitsky stated that Crimea is the key to helping Russia expand its influence in the region. On the other hand, he emphasized that Ukraine's regaining of the peninsula is non-negotiable. However, Deputy Chairman of the Russian Security Council Dmitry Medvedev stated that Moscow would consider using all measures, including nuclear, in case Crimea is attacked. Surrounded by Russia, Kiev troops withdrew north of Avdiivka. On the front north of Avdiivka, Ukraine is fleeing the Russian encirclement between Ochertine and Novokalinov to seek to withdraw to Arkhangelsk. Russia broke through the Ukrainian defense line in Kupiansk. Military Summary Channel reported that Moscow forces broke through Ukrainian defenses in Kislivka, captured the entire village and launched further attacks on neighboring villages. At the same time, the first ground attacks against Makivka were underway. After weeks of inactivity, the front towards Kupiansk has become hot. Tobiao Del Channel said that in the direction of Kupiansk, the Russian offensive was carried out not only near Kislavka and Kotliarovka, but also near Krakmelny. The Russians broke through enemy defenses west of Krakmelny and advanced towards Pesheny, approaching the settlement. Ukraine fled the Russian siege north of Avdiivka. Military Summary Channel reported that Ukrainian soldiers were fleeing the encirclement of Ukrainian forces between Ochertine and Novokalinov to try to withdraw to Arkhangelsk. According to the River Channel, on the front north of Avdiivka, Russian troops are moving towards Arkhangelsk, fighting at Kuramik. Once they clear Novokalinov, the pressure on Ukrainian positions will increase. According to Suryakmap's channel, the situation in the northwest of Donetsk city, in recent days, the Russian army has taken control of more than 30% of the Netilov area. On the other hand, changes have occurred at Nevelsky as the warehouses, as well as the surrounding area, remain in a gray zone. Meanwhile, Ukraine Watch Channel reported the faster progress of Moscow forces when confirming the shock attacks had broken through to Netilovo. The fighting is taking place in the center of the village. Fierce fighting at the Krasnogorivka epicenter. River Channel reported that In the direction of Donetsk, fierce battles continued to take place on the territory of the refractory plant in the city of Krasnogorivka. Russian units have expanded their control in Netalovo, where Ukraine has begun preparations for a withdrawal toward Kharkivka. Military summary channel said that by entering Krasnogorivka towards the gas station, Moscow forces now have more options to continue attacking on the ground in many different directions. The front around Kherson also became quite active thanks to artillery and FPV drones. Chronicles channel said that the situation in Krasnogorivka for Kiev forces became more serious because they did not have as many ways to retreat as it seemed at first glance. The first is west along the railway line, the second is north along the road towards Karlovka. The road from the south has been blocked by Russian troops. The remaining routes are under fire control. Ukrainian General Staff, 40 Russian attacks were repelled in Avdiivka. Ukrainska Pravda reported that a report on the evening of April 28 from the General Staff of Ukraine said that on Sunday, in the direction of Avdiivka, the defenders repelled 40 enemy attacks. The report reads, during the day, 112 clashes were recorded. In total, Russia launched 1 missile, carried out 49 airstrikes and 77 attacks from multiple launch artillery and rocket systems. The Ukrainian General Staff affirmed that their forces have basically repelled Russian attacks in Kupiansk, Liman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, Novopavlovsk, Marinka, Orikov, Zaporizhia and Kherson during the day. The Air Force of the Self-Defense Forces conducted airstrikes on 3 enemy troop concentration areas. Missile units damaged a Russian control point, the report said. Ukraine admitted to withdrawing troops from 3 villages. Kyiv Independent reported that Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine Alexander Syrsky said on April 28 that the Ukrainian army had retreated west from the villages of Berdychi, Semenivka and Novomikhailivka in the Donetsk region. The villages located in the direction of Pokrovsk in western Donetsk continue to be one of the hottest areas on the front line as Russia continues its offensive. The Khortytsia group of the Ukrainian ground forces reported on April 27 that Russian forces had broken through and gained a foothold in Osheretin, a frontline village nearly 10 kilometers from Berdychi and Semenivka. General Syrsky described the situation in the Pokrovsk and Kharkov regions as the most difficult today. According to the commander-in-chief, Russia is mobilizing up to 4 brigades from 8,000 to 32,000 fighters to conduct offensive operations in the direction of the cities of Pokrovsk and Kharkov west of Avdiivka, which fell in February. Ukrainian intelligence reported that 2 Russian diesel locomotives were destroyed. Ukrainska Pravda reported that the General Intelligence Directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine said that in the Russian cities of Orenburg and Vladikavkaz, 2 diesel locomotives were destroyed on April 26 and 28. The announcement read, on April 28, in the city of Orenburg in Russia, unknown people burned a TE-1 OM brand diesel locomotive. A similar incident happened 2 days earlier, on April 26, in the city of Vladikavkaz. During the night a fire destroyed the CHME-3 diesel locomotive. The General Intelligence Directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine stated that the removal of vehicles on enemy railways reduces Russia's military logistics capabilities.
Kazakhstan officially spoke up about the possibility of selling MiG-31 to Ukraine. Information that Ukraine can buy many used fighter jets from Kazakhstan, including the MiG-31, has attracted a lot of interest. Kazakh enterprise Kaspis Export, a unit specializing in importing and exporting military equipment, has officially announced that recently posted information is unreliable, that is, they will sell decommissioned aircraft to the armed forces. Ukraine page. Company representatives emphasized that any steps that will take place with military equipment, including decommissioned ones, will be carried out strictly within the framework of Kazakh law, and only between legal entities recognized by the Republic as well as having the appropriate license. Kaspis Export's announcement said, the information distributed on the internet does not reflect reality. All auctions for buying and selling aviation equipment take place transparently, complying with legal requirements, and foreign companies are not allowed to participate in the above process.
In addition, the enterprise's press agency also clarified that procedures for handling decommissioned military equipment are strictly controlled by the owner, according to the terms of the agreement. All aircraft as well as their accompanying parts and assemblies will be destroyed on the territory of Kazakhstan by methods that completely exclude the possibility of recovery. Equipment and vehicles will be processed by shredding and several other methods, after which they will be exported but in the form of non-ferrous metal scrap, Kaspersky Export Press Service emphasizes. However, analysts note that when everything has not been completed, that is, the number of used aircraft mentioned above has not been cut into scrap, any possibilities should not be ruled out, especially if there is an impact from American side.